The void of space is the ultimate canvas for our most profound fears and our wildest theories. For over a century, a legend has circulated among astronomers, intelligence officers, and conspiracy theorists, a story of an object that should not exist. They call it the Black Knight satellite. It is a dark sentinel rumored to be of extraterrestrial origin that has silently orbited our planet for an unimaginable amount of time, perhaps as long as 13,000 years. This isn't just a ghost story. It is a complex mystery that bridges the dawn of electrical engineering, the height of the Cold War, and the very apex of modern space exploration. To understand the Black Knight, we must decode a series of historical anomalies that many believe are connected. The first thread of this tapestry was woven by none other than the master of electricity, Nikola Tesla, in 1899, while conducting wireless power experiments at his experimental station in Colorado Springs. Tesla's instruments began to act strangely. In the moody twilight of his lab, a primitive radio receiver began to click with a rhythmic precision that was clearly not natural interference. Tesla was convinced he was receiving intelligent communication. He noted that the signals were numerical, 1, 2, 3, and hypothesized that he was hearing the greeting of one planet too. Another, likely life on Mars, while modern science now attributes his findings to pulsars, which were not understood at the time. The seed of the legend was planted. Humanity had heard something in the dark. The next anomaly arrived in 1928, courtesy of a Norwegian amateur radio operator named Jørgen Hals. While transmitting near Oslo, Hals began receiving echoes of his own signals, but they were delayed by a shocking 3 to 15 seconds. These long-delayed echoes, or leads, were impossible to explain with conventional terrestrial physics. How could a signal travel far into space and bounce back seconds later? The prevailing theory was that something was lurking in near-Earth orbit, catching human transmissions and sending them back like a digital mimic. Hals had documented a ghost in the system, and the world had no answer for it. The mystery reached a fever pitch in 1954. This was 3 years before the Soviet Union launched Sputnik, the first human-made object to reach orbit. Yet newspapers around the globe erupted with shocking headlines. The U.S. Air Force was reported to have detected two mysterious satellites orbiting Earth. In an era before spaceflight was possible for humanity, the public was left to grapple with the terrifying idea that someone or something had already conquered the high ground, while later investigations suggested these reports were likely tongue-in-cheek. Articles by a media fascinated by UFO culture. The damage was done. The idea of the dark object was now cemented in public consciousness. This fear became an official national security issue in 1960. The U.S. Navy, operating a new detection network designed to identify non-cooperative targets, locked on to something highly anomalous. They found a large, dark object shadowing the Earth, and it was moving in a polar orbit. This was a critical distinction. Early human satellites moved horizontally in an equatorial orbit, which was far easier to achieve. A polar orbit requires immense energy and advanced technology because it travels over the poles, allowing complete reconnaissance of the entire planet as the Earth rotates beneath it. Neither the United States nor the Soviet Union possessed that capability in 1960. While the object was eventually identified as debris from a failed spy satellite, Discoverer 8, that had gone astray, the legend of the alien recon probe was now an unshakable belief. In 1973, a new voice entered the debate. Scottish author Duncan Lunan analyzed the long-delayed echoes documented by Hals and other operators. Using the time delays as coordinates, Lunan hypothesized that the signals were actually a star map. He suggested they came from an ancient probe originating from the star system Epsilon Botis, hidden behind the moon for 13,000 years. He called it a Bracewell probe, a hypothetical concept of an automated alien scout meant to find and contact emerging civilizations. Lunan later retracted his dramatic conclusions, admitting his methodology was flawed, but his analysis added two of the most enduring components to the Black Knight mythos: its alien origin and its ancient age. For the rest of the 20th century, the Black Knight remained the ultimate conspiracy theory of space, a jumble of unrelated radio signals, Cold War paranoia, and over-interpreted photographs of space debris. Proponents of the theory retroactively stitched these events together to create a singular narrative. An ancient sentinel, sent by an advanced civilization, was monitoring humanity from the ultimate vantage point. NASA and global space agencies were accused of a systematic cover-up to keep this reality from the public. They were said to have clear, classified photos and transcripts from astronauts who had seen the object with their own eyes. The myth was waiting for its final visual evidence. That evidence arrived on the morning of December 11, 1998, during one of the most critical missions of the space age. The Space Shuttle Endeavour was engaged in mission STS-88, the first assembly flight of the International Space Station. The primary objective was to mate the American Unity node with the Russian Zarya module, a complex task that required multiple spacewalks or EVAs. During one of these EVAs, while securing a thermal cover on a trunnion pin, a mishap occurred. The laws of orbital mechanics are unforgiving. When the thermal blanket was released, it drifted relative to the shuttle, slowly receding as it tumbled silently in the vacuum. The crew aboard Endeavour documented the lost item with a series of photographs, cataloging the object as debris 025570. When these high-resolution photographs were released, they set the internet on fire. Frame Street So 8872466 became the definitive proof of the Black Knight satellite. In the stark light of space, without atmospheric scattering, the object is defined by extreme contrast and heavy shadows. To the untrained eye, it does not look like a blanket. It appears rigid, geometric, and structured. It looks multifaceted and dark, seemingly possessing appendages or perhaps even a cockpit. For conspiracy theorists, this was the moment of revelation. It was too complex to be junk. It was the ancient Sentinel. NASA and the astronomical community responded with overwhelming technical data. They pointed to mission transcripts recording the loss of the item, the photographic catalog identifying it as debris, and the high-fidelity simulation showing how orbital mechanics caused it to drift. They explained that its weird, angular appearance in static photos was caused by pareidolia, the psychological phenomenon where the human brain perceives familiar, meaningful patterns, like vehicles or faces, in random or ambiguous stimuli. The object was a flexible, silver and black thermal blanket, and its stumbling motion created the structured illusions caught in the low-resolution digital images of the late 90s. Space archaeologists confirmed that object 025570 re-entered Earth's atmosphere just days later, burning up completely. The legend of the Black Knight satellite is perhaps the ultimate case study in the intersection of real science and human mythology. It is a story where true anomalies, like Tesla's signals and the long-delayed echoes, were repurposed to provide the backstory for a legend fueled by the paranoia of the Cold War. The story persists because it taps into our primal need to believe that we are being watched, that our history is part of a grander, cosmic observation, and that there are secrets hidden by the ultimate authorities. Whether it is a 13,000-year-old Sentinel or a lost piece of insulation, the Black Knight remains a symbol of the mystery and madness that defines our search for the truth in the void. Hi everyone, Mark here. If you are fascinated by the unexplained and the darker side of human history, subscribe and follow for more chilling mysteries and psychological madness. Join our community, link in the description.